What's up, everyone? Welcome to Talk It. I'm your host, Amina, and this is the show where we talk about things no one wants to talk about. Hello, beautiful human beings. I am so excited because this is my very first podcast. And it's so crazy that I'm sitting here today and doing this because it has been on my mind for the longest time. Like, honestly, for months now, I've been thinking about doing it. I've been trying to figure out how to do it. And I've been so nervous. I've been so anxious today. I couldn't sleep. I haven't been able to eat. And when I really was wondering about why I was feeling so nervous for something that I was so excited about, I realized it was because I was just scared of what people would say. I was scared of whether people would like this. I was scared of putting in all this effort for something that I don't even know if it's going to be cool or fun or going to get the message that I want across out. And I'm sitting here today in this chair, not because I lack these emotions, but because I'm doing them in spite of them. I'm conquering them, and I'm going out and making myself happy and proud and not caring about what other people are going to say, because the only thing that matters to me is what I want to do. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. And that is what I want this podcast to be about, is opening up about real human emotions that we all have, because we're real humans that are going through real human problems, because life is so tough. Life is so hard. And we sit here and pretend that we don't feel anxious, that we don't feel scared, and we don't feel nervous. And we put on this mask and try to make ourselves look the best way possible, look perfect, because if we looked perfect, then people would love us. But I don't want that to be the case anymore. I don't want us to all wear masks. I want us to all take off our masks and talk about these problems, because life doesn't have to be so isolating. We don't have to go through these emotions alone. And the more we talk about them, the more we become okay with them, the more we talk about feeling guilty and feeling shame and feeling anxious, the more connected we can all become. But we can't be connected to each other if we're not real with each other. And that's exactly what I want this space to be. I want this space to be a place for me to talk about my struggles and how I've grown from them, and for my guests to talk about their struggles and how they've grown from them. And in doing so, just make the world a little less lonely and a little bit more connected. And something that I think is so isolating these days, and something that we're kind of all trying to figure out by ourselves, is dating. I don't know what's happening with dating in 2023. Everyone is doing things so differently. It's funny because I actually launch polls and surveys on my social media, and dating is just something that people are so drawn to. It's something that people are so interested in because no one knows what they're doing when they're dating. It's like, you meet somebody and you can kind of go to your friends for advice, or you go to your parents for advice, but in reality, you're going on these dates by yourself, and you're going on these dates with your emotions, and you're trying to figure out whether this person is good for you, whether you're good for this person, whether they like you, whether you like them. And it's really tough to get through. So today I really want to talk about dating in 2023 and talk about how we're all going through these same emotions of dating. But again, nobody's talking about it. So we're going to be talking about it today. And in fact, I Googled this statistic. You guys ready for this? 60% of people as of January in 2023 are feeling lonely. And I'm like, we have all these apps. People are literally like coming up to you on the streets. Why is everyone lonely? What are we doing wrong? And so today, to help me talk about dating, we're going to be talking to a beautiful human being. I'm so excited to have her as my first guest on this episode. She is from Detroit, Michigan, which I'm so excited because I'm from Michigan too. So it's always nice to have somebody who knows the little hand trick, because if you're from the Midwest, you know what I'm talking about. And she moved out here in July, so she's been in LA just for a few months, but she's now pursuing modeling and music, and she's spent a good amount of time in the nightlife industry. And so I'm sure she has some really great stories to share from her time there. But please give it up for Miss Evita. Hello, my love.
I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my,
I like been wanting to do this, so I'm really excited.
I am so happy that you're my first guest. Honestly, I feel like our vibes match so well.
Completely.
And
Yeah.
it's so crazy to like have you be my first guest. So thank you for like doing this for me.
Thank you for allowing me to do this with you.
Of course. So Evita, something that I do every day is, or I try to do, I'm not going to say I'm perfect because your girl is human, but something that I try, exactly, we're human. We love being human.
Yeah.
Something that I try doing every morning is taking a moment to say something I'm grateful for.
Oh, I love that.
And so today, what I want to start this show off with is just saying something that we're both grateful for today, because being grateful has changed my life. It has made me notice things a lot more and just be happy and thankful for the place I'm in today, rather than trying to get more and more out of my life and just, you know, grounding myself in today. So I will start, but I am so grateful actually for my friends, because my friends have been the ones who have been pushing me to do this podcast, and I've had such a great support system from them.
That's beautiful. I love that.
I know. And
That's great.
And it's so crazy because, you know, like my friends are somebody people I talk to every day, but like I've never said thank you to them. So anybody who's watching this who has pushed me to be doing this, thank you to you guys. Like I'm only here because you guys have made me feel worthy enough to be here. So thank you to all my friends. I'm so grateful and thankful for all of you in my life. So yeah.
I love that. That's so beautiful. And I'm like happy that you have a great support system like that, because it's
hard.
Best. It's hard.
Oh my God, making friends when you're in your 20s, that's hard.
And in LA.
And in LA, we got the double boost. The double danger out here. But what about you? What are you thankful for today?
I would say I'm grateful for, mine's a little different.
Tell me.
I'm grateful for like all the lessons I've learned, because I feel like it's grown me into what I am now, who I am now, I should say. So I'm grateful for the lessons.
Ooh, so blessings in disguise almost.
Blessings in disguise, yes.
I love that. I love that, honestly. We love blessings in disguise, and we love learning lessons. I think I've learned that life is just about learning lessons. It's like a school.
It really is.
It's like, what are we learning today?
You are learning life.
Yeah.
That's it.
Literally,
and there's no blueprint, so you're figuring it out on your own.
Yeah. Literally, you're figuring it out on your own, but I'm hoping that by the end of this podcast, everyone out there feels just a little less alone, because they will resonate with something that you're saying or I'm saying.
Absolutely.
And that we can feel,
the goal.
We can just feel a little bit more like someone understands us, because I feel like a lot of us just feel really misunderstood and alone in our problems.
And hopefully give more direction too, because I feel like you said, everyone's lost. Everyone's
so lost. I'm so lost. I have no idea what I'm doing.
No idea. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so I brought you on here today for talking about dating and talking about men. Topic. Because we love talking about.
We love it.
We love. So Evita, I wanted to ask you, because so when I think about dating, I was wondering myself, like, what is a relationship? I'm like, what? You know, all of us are like, we don't want to be single. And it's like, what are we all looking for in the first place? Like, why? I get we don't want to be single, but what are we looking for in a relationship to bring value into our life? So my first question to you is, what do you think a relationship is? Like, what value does a relationship bring into your life?
I feel like a relationship is a partnership. It's someone that you can go to as a support system, someone you get good news and you call them and you're like, hey, this happened, you know, or someone, if you're having a bad day, like, hey, let's go do this, or, you know, someone to create like a team, you know, that companionship, that partnership.
It's so crazy you say that, because I think it's taken me a long time to realize that that's what a relationship is, because I think in like high school or college, this definition of a relationship is so like very playful almost. It's like somebody to text, someone to look cute for in the football games, like someone to get your heart racing.
Right.
But the more I get older,
Yeah.
the more I'm like, no. Like anybody can get my heart racing. It
Right.
really doesn't take that much.
Okay, girl.
No, but it's something different to have
Yeah.
a partnership with somebody,
Oh,
to say,
absolutely.
you know, there's things that I lack in my life and I need you to come in with your strengths
Yes.
to kind of offset my weaknesses.
Absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing is like you have your individual life, they got their individual life, but you come together and you build each other up. And, you know, what they're lacking, you're there. What you're lacking, they're there. I think
Exactly.
that's the biggest thing.
And
But like you said, it's different from high school and now. Completely like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a super important thing as well, is just being whole in yourself
Absolutely.
and finding
Big.
somebody who's also whole in themselves.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people, they get into relationships to make up for something that they're lacking. And I think that that's something I've realized as well, is there's things that you do because you lack something, not because you want to experience it for the full extent that it is.
Yeah.
So for example,
Yep.
maybe a guy is giving you attention that you're lacking,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going out with him because he's giving you that attention that you want so badly. But then you're not really experiencing him in the full extent of who he is as a
Right.
human being.
Right.
You're just using him.
Right. For that attention that he's giving you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be like, I think the biggest thing is
Mhm.
enjoying your own company. And once you're like secure with that, you know, then you'll really know like who's coming in and out of your life.
Yeah.
You can kind of filter that.
I totally agree with that, because I used to be somebody who gave my energy to anybody. And now I'm somebody who oh my God, you laugh like you're like, girl.
Girl.
I can relate. But yeah, I'm sure you can relate. I'm sure a lot of
Yeah.
people can relate
Yeah.
as well too, is just
Absolutely.
giving your energy to people who you shouldn't be giving your
Yeah.
energy to.
Well, it's also like, you know, when they ask you to hang out and you're like, all right. But now I'm just at a point where it's like, but I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to go.
I don't want to hang out.
I
Yes.
want to hang out with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I feel bad.
right, you feel bad, but then at the end of the day, it's something that like, you know,
Gotta
you're
think
doing
about you.
exactly.
Yeah.
You really have to think about yourself, and
Yeah.
it's like, I can people please
Yeah.
and I can hang out with you, but you're not going to be getting the best version of me because I don't want
Exactly.
to be here.
Right.
And I think that
Right.
that's also something that I've had to learn for myself, is not to just say yes to anything.
Yeah.
And while human beings are social creatures and we do need, you know, that human
Of
connection,
course.
there's a point where somebody isn't fulfilling that connection for you.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
draining for you. And
Yeah.
that's when I ask myself, I'm like, if I hang out with this person, am I going to come back feeling fulfilled,
Right.
or am I going to come back
A better
feeling
person.
drained?
Yeah.
A better person. Exactly. And
Not
that's
everybody's deserving of your energy.
no. And that's something that you really have to understand, because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm really good at judging people and their characters, but I'm also somebody who gives everyone a chance.
Yeah.
So I'm always like,
Yeah.
everyone will get a first dinner with me, but not everyone will get a second dinner with me.
Okay.
But I do go on those first
Interesting.
dinners with everybody.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But again, you have to like figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just, again, you're just there sitting with them. You're like, are they gonna, you know, are they gonna be worth my time? But
Yeah.
also, are they going to, you know, be somebody? Because once you make a friend, it's hard to cut them out. It's hard to be like, you know what, actually,
Never mind.
never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. I actually
Never mind.
don't want to give you my number.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's hard.
But I feel like what works for you isn't going to work for the other person. You know, like you said, I'm going to give that one dinner, but maybe not a second. For me, I'm like, you might not even get the first. to be
Really?
honest. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that because you're trying to protect yourself?
But
Yeah.
possibly.
a little bit
But
on
I
guard.
think, I just know what I want now. So.
Ooh. I love that for you. Like, you know what you want in a relationship and friends.
Relationship, friends, all of it.
Mhm.
So I kind of just pick up on, you know, energies and everything. And if I'm like, okay, I could see something with this, then I'll be like, okay. But if not, I'm like, I can't tonight.
Yeah. I love that you have like a
Yeah.
built-in radar then.
Oh, yeah.
For
Yeah.
who's a good person or not.
Yeah.
I need to take some classes from you because
Girl, I'll help
I'm
you.
struggling with that a little bit, if I'm honest. I'm struggling with my radar because, again, I'm just like, oh, maybe they're going to be great. Maybe they're going to be my
Benefit
new
of the
best friend.
doubt. Yeah, no.
Yeah, benefit of the
No.
doubt. Nope. You're like,
No.
Not today. Not today.
You are lucky. We're hanging out.
I love that. So, Evita, you seem very confident in yourself, and I love that about you because you're very cool, calm, collected, and I can just tell you're a very confident person. Even the way you're speaking right now, you're like, you know, you're not worth my energy and time.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious to know, how did you get to this point of confidence, and why do you, or what do you think your value is in relationships that puts you in such a confident position?
Wow, that's such a good question. I think, well, one being what I've been, like going through what I've been through has really put me in the place that I am now, to where it's like, I can just like, no, we're good. I'm good on all that, you know?
Yeah.
I always kind of had confidence, I would say. I've always been on stage, so I never like was shy. Like when I was younger, I was, but as I got older and I was on stage and I was dancing and, you know, I was like, yeah, you know, like I don't care. And I'll say hi to whoever down the street or like walking down the street or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. You just kind of, you work on it and I don't even know.
You said you've worked on it, though. It's something that you've had to put in effort to, so you haven't always been confident, and it's something you've had to put in effort for.
I think when I was younger, not so much. I got bullied a lot.
Really?
Oh yeah. I got bullied a lot because I was always different from everybody else. But I was always okay with it. Didn't have many friends, but I was cool with that. And then kind of just found my place as I, you know, time went on, and I was like comfortable with who I was, you know, and what I have to offer. You know, I wanted to dance and I did dance, and now modeling, and, you know, I'm like comfortable with those things, and whoever wants to be in your life is going to be in your life, and whoever doesn't won't, and that's okay. Not everybody's meant for you. Not everybody's going to like you either.
Yeah. And I think that's such a good point to bring up, is not everyone is going to like you.
Not everybody, yeah.
Because that's something I struggled with, was wanting everyone to love me. And I feel like that's where kind of I was putting on a mask and being like, I will be anything that you want me to be. And in doing so, I lost myself.
Yourself.
I lost my identity because I was like, just love me.
Yeah. I think that's another thing too. I'm very straightforward and like, this is who I am. This is what I got. This is, you know, you like it, you don't, you know. So. And
that's something a lot of people don't get to the point of.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
must have been a lot of effort.
It wasn't. I don't know. I've always kind of just been myself, and that was it.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So, Evita, I know I pulled you here today for dating. So, and I know that you mentioned that something you're grateful for today is learning lessons.
Yes.
So what I want to ask you today is, what have you learned from your past relationships, and has there been a relationship in your past where it has really changed who you are as a human being, and the relationship was kind of almost like a blessing in disguise? Like, it was something that you had to go through and struggle through, but you came out the other end a better or different person.
Yeah, I definitely have. There's like many things that I've learned being in a relationship like that, because I was in a toxic, traumatic, narcissistic relationship.
Oh, okay. And, is this your most recent ex?
Most recent.
Okay.
Yes. But I will say what I've learned with that, and it was a blessing in disguise, and I'm so grateful that I even went through that, because I feel like I needed it, and it was a wake-up call to me for sure. But what I will say that I've learned through that is you really have to watch if somebody has anything to lose, because if they don't, that's who to watch out for.
Oh, oh, that is crazy. Okay, wait. I have to ask you about this guy. Okay. So
let's get into it. Let's get into it.
How long ago was this?
All right.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Okay. When did you meet him? What year? How old were you? What was going on?
All right. I was 19. I met him. It was January 2021.
Okay.
Yes.
So after the whole COVID.
After it was like
After being traumatized by COVID.
yeah, literally. It was like COVID, and then it was still kind of COVID, but like we were getting over it, kind of thing. Yeah.
So you met him in January.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how did you meet him?
So I was choreographing a music video at the time.
Okay.
And he happened to just walk into rehearsal. He was like one of the dudes I was gonna be in the music video.
Okay.
And I honestly I didn't really even pay attention at the time. I was like, I'm here to do what I gotta do. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
You were here to do your job.
To do my job. Like, that was
don't got time for men today.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened? How did he win you over?
Girl.
Tell me, what did he do?
Yeah, so like rehearsals kept going on. We did the shoot and we were like talking, but it was more like about the video and the choreography and everything like that. Once we shot, he then hit me up to like hang out. But also, and around that time, he would always like be where I was.
Yeah.
So he always made himself, in presence.
Oh, interesting.
And then he asked me to hang out. I was like, all right, hang out with you.
I'll give you my time, I guess.
He was like very quiet, so I was like, let's see what's going on here. He was cute, whatever. And so we hung out. And it went good.
Yeah.
It went good.
So what did you like about him in the first date?
I think the first thing that really was like, okay, this will be good, was we were both interested in the same things. He wanted to do music. I wanted to do music. We were both into like that industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, he'll understand then, how it's going to be.
Yeah, you found some common ground with him.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing in the industry, is getting someone who understands. So that was the biggest thing. And then our first time hanging out, we were just sitting in the car for like hours, listening to music, singing, and I'm like,
vibing. You were vibing.
Yeah, we were vibing. And I'm like a sucker for that.
What?
Like if we could just chill in the car and vibe to music, and
the simple things. Yeah. Just like really like connecting with somebody.
I mean, we went out to dinner and stuff too, but the end of the night was that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way. I don't really love fancy dinners. Like, I love those moments where you're just like being raw and like, doing just like this like most mundane things. Yeah. Because that's like really what life is about. It's not about going to these fancy dinners. I mean, they're fun. Like, love to get dressed up, but like, again, it's like those moments where you're just like being yourself.
Yeah. And that's why I don't go on dates though.
Oh, you don't go on dates now?
No.
Oh, what do you do?
I'll be like, we could hang out. We could go do something casual. I want to see you in like your environment, but I don't go on dates because I don't need you putting on a mask.
Ooh, we hate masks on the show.
No masks.
I totally feel that. I feel the same way, and especially like with dates and stuff, I feel like they're always trying to say the most perfect thing, or they're always trying to like, I've had people be like, I'll be like, oh, I don't like Chinese food. And they'll be like, yeah, I hate Chinese food.
They put on this persona.
And then I find out later they love Chinese food. I'm like, why didn't you just tell me? I'm like, why are you, like, if I'm going to fall in love with you, if I'm going to, like you, I don't want you to be lying to me.
I don't want to show.
Exactly.
I don't want to show. I just want you. So, I'll hang out with you and, in a natural setting.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Okay, let's get back to this guy because I want to hear.
We gotta know.
We gotta know what happened. So you guys were vibing.
Yeah, we were vibing, and then we would spend hours on FaceTime, like fall asleep on FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, whatever. Like we were,
fine.
It was chill, and we would hang out a few times, and then we were like, okay.
Okay, so when did when did he show his like toxic nature?
I would say it was like after 3 times of hanging out. I was working at a bar at the time, and he came in, and at the time our Fridays were popping. So everyone would come on Fridays, and he came and just embarrassed me and himself because he got completely wasted, and just he didn't even know what was going on. He was completely like gone, and I was like, shit.
And he came to your place of work and embarrassed you.
Yeah. Yep.
What was he exactly? Just yelling? Like, what was he doing?
He was just acting a fool, just saying it didn't even make sense. The stuff that he was saying didn't even make any sense. It was like illogical, irrational. I'm like, do you want me to order you an Uber? And he's like, fuck out of my face. Like shit like that. Yeah.
Oh
it
my
was like,
goodness.
yeah.
So then after you said this was the third time.
That was after like our third time of hanging out. Yeah.
Okay, but you still like carried on with him?
Well, so then that happened.
Yeah. And
then I was like, oh, hell no. You know,
Right.
And then he's crying on FaceTime to me like, I'm so sorry. I don't want to lose you over this. And that's when I'm like, okay, I'll give the benefit of the doubt because everybody makes mistakes. I get that. I'll give another chance, you know, whatever. So I did.
Mm-hmm.
And happened again.
He embarrassed you again?
Embarrassed me.
No.
At work again. Buying girl shots and whatever. And my coworkers are telling me, and I'm like, dude, like, that's fucking embarrassing, you know? So then it just kept going on. And I guess, like, once I'm tied in with somebody like that, I'm very forgiving. So definitely learned from that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What was it about him that kept you coming back? Like, I know he was embarrassing you, but like, what was drawing you into him?
I don't know. I just felt like this connection with him. He was always very like persistent, always pursuing me, always made sure he was around me. He did everything for the most part that I wanted a guy to do, aside from obviously, you know, all the bad stuff that he did. But yeah, he like did everything, and then he was like charming and he was romantic, you know, like we would go to karaoke and he would like dedicate a song to me, or he would give me flowers. It was just, you know, things that it's like, it was my first relationship. So.
Oh, it was your first relationship. Yeah. So that was your normal. Yeah. You had nothing to compare it to.
Yeah. Except for my parents. But like at that point I was kind of like away from them already. So yeah, it was just, I thought.
That's how it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you said you really loved him pursuing you.
Yes.
So what was he exactly doing?
So he always like I was saying earlier, like he was always in presence. So he always made sure to be where I was going to be. Because if out of sight, out of mind, you know, if you're not going to put yourself in front of me, like I'm just like, okay, step aside.
Yeah.
Like, on to the next or whatever. You know, I'm just doing my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you want to be in my life. Like, you need to prove that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to prove that.
That's interesting because I know there's this concept of love bombing. I don't know if you've heard of love bombing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So love bombing is when you are showering somebody with affection and attention based on like their weaknesses, like what you know that they need.
Yep.
And so I'm curious about your interpretation of it. Was he pursuing you or was he love bombing you, do you think?
I think now looking back, it was definitely love bombing for sure. But at the time, I didn't think that. I'm like, wow, he's really interested. He's doing this and this and this. But I think like, this is why I say when a guy asks, you know, what do you look for? You don't tell him. Because that's a freaking blueprint for them to be that. They're going to shape themselves into that. So I'm like, if you check the boxes, you check the boxes. If you don't, you don't. Like, what do you want me to tell you?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny because on Love Island, they always ask, look, what are you looking for, love?
Yeah, nope, I'm not saying it. You got to be it.
Yeah. Don't talk about it, be it.
Be it. Be about it.
I love that. That's so true because again, like I was saying on dates and stuff, you know, people do just try to morph into whoever they want you to be. Yeah, and it's like, if you're giving them the cheat code for you, you're like left, right, center. No, you can't do that.
Cheat code here, baby.
You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it.
For sure.
So this toxic guy, because obviously you guys aren't together now because he's your ex. So like, what happened from like you guys kind of like
drifting away?
Yeah.
It was so bad. We were always off and on because he would constantly like, you know, do stuff in the relationship. He would cheat on me. I like put a car in my name for him, and it was terrible. Evita. I know, it was terrible. Such a bad idea.
But also, I launch polls and surveys on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And I've actually asked my social media, what's the dumbest thing you've done for somebody who didn't deserve it in a relationship? And so many people were sending me the most outrageous things like buying a car, things like, you know, flying somewhere, spending thousands of dollars to see somebody.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, like going back to why I started this podcast is like, people do this. Like people, when you're in love, you really have like logic kind of thrown out the window.
Oh, yeah.
And then when logic kind of comes back into your life, when the emotions kind of die down, I don't know if you feel like this, but like a lot of the people that were responding to my surveys and stuff were like, I thought I was the only one. Like I've always felt so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you feel stupid for that? Like now looking back, or are you like, you know, I understand why I did that?
I understand why I did that. I'm not going to say sorry for having a good heart, you know, or caring for somebody, but I think it's important to not be stupid. So it's one thing to have a good heart, but to be stupid is another. But I don't feel stupid for doing it because, like I said, it was just me doing it out of love. But it's who you do it for. It's funny because I watched this TikTok and this girl said you have to if a guy asks for help, or, you know, guy or girl, are you planting their seed or are you watering it?
Ooh. Tell me about that. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's like, I'll help you out if you're actually going somewhere with it. But if you're not, and then what am I doing? You know, I'm not going to help you plant. I'm not going to help a grown man plant a seed. You know what I'm saying?
And you shouldn't need to.
No, absolutely not.
Exactly. It comes back, you know, to being whole in yourself. It's like if you need me to like help you water yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to be latching on to me.
I'll be your support system. 100%.
Yeah. Well, I'll be your cheerleader on the side of the garden, my friend.
Exactly. There you go.
I can't lift the can for you.
No. Yeah. I'll help you find jobs or, you know, whatever, but I'm not going to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
like
absolutely.
A grown man?
Yeah, a grown man.
Yeah,
and it's funny that you mentioned that because there's a lot of conversation, I think, about being in your masculine versus being in your feminine. And when you look up masculine energy, and Steve Harvey actually talks about this. He says that a man's 3 things that he does is pursue, protect, and provide. And that's what a man should do. And masculine energy is very like giving. It's very problem solving. It's very logical. And when you're with a man who can't provide for you or protect you, and you have to kind of put on that role for yourself, it switches the dynamics of the relationship where you're being the male, you're problem solving and you're providing for the guy.
Yeah.
And you can't ever be in your feminine, which is the soft, nurturing, calm, cool, collected side of you.
Yeah.
Because you have to be in your masculine.
Yeah.
So did you run into that problem with him?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had to take control constantly because, especially when he was incoherent, it was like, all right, now I got to take control of what's going on, or, you know, decision making. It was always me. Plans, it was always me. It sucked because now it's like I don't even know how to be in my feminine. You know, it's all I know is masculine and taking control. So I want to constantly take control. So I'm now trying to learn to like let the man do his part.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't know how to do that because I was always doing that.
Yeah. That's something that I've had to be working on as well, because it's like it's very tough to be in your feminine properly, especially when you're so used to taking care of yourself. It's like to allow someone to take care of you. I don't think anyone talks about how difficult that is when you're not used to it. Like if you've had it since you were a kid, it's like easy nature. It's like whatever, someone pay for me, it's fine.
Yeah.
But like when you
don't know.
paid for yourself your whole life, it's like, is it okay for someone else to pay for me?
See, and that's the thing that I go back and forth to. I'm like, do I offer to pay? Do I not?
Yeah. You do I pretend to reach in my purse or like just let them do it?
Yeah. Now I'm like, no, you know, you want to take me out, like you're paying for it.
Yeah.
But I was never the passenger princess. I had the passenger prince. Okay.
I had the passenger. I was driving the chariot. I was my own knight in shining armor. That's crazy, actually.
It is. It's wild.
So you mentioned that he would come into your bar multiple times. So was that like a regular thing? Did he just like drink a lot? Like what was going on?
He just dealt with alcohol issues. Anytime we were out, mainly when we were out, but he would sneak it all the time. If there was like liquor at my place, which was hardly ever liquor because I don't drink really. But yeah, he would sneak it anytime.
He would sneak it.
He would
so
sneak it.
you wouldn't even know he was drinking, and he would be
Mhm.
drinking.
Yeah. But I only knew because I could tell. Once he has one shot, I'm like, I already know. It's like, I could tell right away.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did that ever become too much of an issue? Like when did, I guess, shit hit the ceiling? Like what made you like be like, this is enough for me. I can't do it.
It was, I would say, when he cut himself. You know, he just had an emotional outburst and down to fifth and grabbed a box cutting knife and just started, you know, going at it. And it wasn't like little cuts. It was like 33 stitches deep, you know, cuts and rubbing blood all over my car. Like when the cops came, they were like, you cannot take this to a car wash because they will think you murdered somebody. So I think that's when I was like, all right, it's got to end. It's got to go. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How long had you guys been dating?
When that happened?
Yeah.
It was a year.
A year.
Mm-hmm. It was a year.
And like, what was he saying to you during this time? Like, what was he trying to do you think?
Well, at the time, we had gotten into an argument, so I think that he was like upset about that, and I had left him, and I had,
you had left him.
I left him, changed the garage code on him because he had my garage code, and I think that for him was like, shit, you know.
So he was just trying to reel you back in.
Yeah.
He was trying to do this really
manipulation. But at the time, I didn't think that, and I felt bad, and went and visited him in the hospital, and you know.
After he did that to you, after the cops were like, don't even take this to the car wash, you went and visited him.
Yeah.
In the
I
hospital.
spent all day for like a week or two in the hospital.
What made you want to go?
I loved him. I knew that. I know now that he didn't, but I did, and I cared for him, and I have a good heart, and you know, I don't like to see somebody I love hurting like that. Like, it hurt me to see him hurting and not being okay, you know, mentally, and you know.
That's so tough because it's like, you know that what he did was so wrong and so hard on you.
Yeah.
And you put down your own needs at that time to go help his needs out.
Yeah. Missed work, everything.
You missed work for him too?
Yeah. Missed work. Didn't go out. Yeah.
That's so tough. I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah. It was tough. It was very tough.
I bet.
I lost like 20 pounds during that time.
I couldn't even imagine. I genuinely couldn't even imagine having to go through that. And to go through that with somebody you have such attachment to.
Yeah, it was hard. I remember like wanting to call the hospital, but they wouldn't let me talk to him. And it was so awful. It was awful.
So was that when you broke up with him then?
Yeah, I was like, okay, this has to end. And he was in the hospital. And I told him, I was like, look, this is not going good. It's not looking good. It's not going good. You know, freaking got 33 stitches, dude. You know, like something's got to give at this point, you know, but he kept fighting. He was like mailing me shit in the mail, sending me paragraphs and emails and everything. So it's like, I wanted it to work. I really did. But, you know, wasn't destined.
So at that moment, were you kind of like, I love you, but I need to love myself a little bit more?
Yeah, it was like, I love you, but you need to work on you. And I have to work on me. I was like losing myself completely. I was like 20 pounds down, not really knowing what I was doing with my life anymore because I was just losing it. Everything in my life was just, it was gone. I wasn't going out like I used to and seeing my friends and, you know, being with them. They didn't really know what was going on. Like they knew, but they didn't know everything that was going on behind the scenes. So
did you feel like he was like, before that happened, like was he like draining your energy before that, or was he draining your energy kind of after that happened?
I feel like he was always draining my energy. Like in the relationship, when we were like together every day, and when we weren't together, I felt like I had more life in me. But when we were together, I was always tired.
Really?
Always tired. And I'm like, why? I freaking slept 12 hours, you know? But it's because they just suck you dry. He sucked me dry.
Of your energy.
Completely. Because he didn't have it. You know, he had no life in him. So he was like, I take it from you. She did.
Oh my God, I just got like goosebumps. That's so
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Because people do that. People are energy vampires and they will drain your energy if you allow them to.
Allow them. Yeah.
And that's so crazy that you were truly tired. Like your
Yeah.
body knew something was up.
Something was wrong. And I didn't, at the time, I didn't think of it like that, you know? But I'm like, why am I tired? Like, I need vitamins.
You're like, I promise I'm taking my vitamin C tablets in the morning.
Yeah, I'm taking my iron.
Yeah, my magnesium, my zinc. I have all the supplements.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
crazy. First of all, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I couldn't even imagine going through that, because that's not normal. That's not a normal thing to go through.
Yeah.
And I know that was your first relationship.
Yeah, so it's like I didn't even know. You know, I didn't know any better, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You know, to me it was like, I don't know, like I guess I thought it was love. You know what I mean? I didn't know any better.
Do you think, looking back at it now, was it love?
I think for me it wasn't for him. I think it was obsession for him. Because like he got like a poster of me in his room and a freaking tattoo of me, or my eyes. He got my eyes tatted on.
Your
him.
eyes tatted on him? Wait, where?
It's right here.
Oh
on
my
his forearm, yeah. I got like a text one day. This is after we broke up. I get a text and he was like, "Here you go." And I'm like,
wait, he didn't even tell you who's gonna do it?
we talked about it when we were together. I was like, yeah, you know, I like that.
This was after you guys broke up.
This is after we broke up. He got it. Yeah, I know.
Stop.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. So I got a text. I already moved here. And yeah, I got that text. And I didn't know how to feel. I'm like, honestly, I was kind of like, you don't deserve to have me
on you.
You know, that's a privilege.
It really is.
Yeah.
And your eyes, that's like the window to your soul. That's crazy. Wait, so I feel like that's kind of what you were talking about, just like reeling you back in.
Yeah.
And just like looking for sympathy.
Thought it would.
Yeah.
It didn't. It didn't. I was like, no.
Thank God you were in the place as well, mental space to say no to him. Because I feel like a lot of people, again, if they're lacking attention, if they're lacking something in their life, and a guy has a poster of you in his room.
Girl,
like, I would
sleeping with my blanket and shit, my shirts. Yeah, it wasn't love.
It wasn't love. You're right. It was obsession.
Obsession. Yeah.
But Evita, like, I really commend you on your mental strength, because that's not an easy thing.
Oh no, it's hard to overcome. And for girls, they'd be like, "Oh my God, he got me tatted," and it's like, yeah, but no. Like, I would love my man to have me tatted on him for sure. Yeah. But like, with sanity.
I want you there.
I want you there.
And then get me here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wait, that's so crazy. So after all this happened, how did you, because you're, again, like, you're so cool, calm, collected, confident, beautiful.
Yeah.
How did you get from that place to here now?
So after I moved, that really helped, because I was like away from him, and I knew I wasn't going to be seeing him. I knew, so I was more with myself, and I started doing things for myself and that I enjoyed, and things that distracted me. I got my dog, so like she helped a lot. Aww. And then I did a cord cutting. I was like, we're nipping this. So I did a cord cutting, and that really helped me a lot, and just getting back to my spirituality. And
can you explain to everyone what cord cutting is?
yeah, so basically cord cutting is just you take candles, or you could even do like a black protection candle, and it's just sending the energy back to the person. Not anything negative, but it's just, you know, to send their energy back where it came from, back to sender, and cutting the cord between you two. Yeah, back to sender. Keep that shit over there.
Yeah. FedEx, you got a delivery.
got a package.
You got a package to pick up.
Yeah.
Wait, so cord cutting really helped you then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I feel like it didn't like completely, you know, seal it, because he's still sending me stuff to this day. Like Valentine's Day, I got flowers. Or
This
whatever.
Valentine's Day?
This Valentine's Day.
And you guys broke up how long ago?
Like a year ago now. Yeah. Over a year ago.
So he's still trying to reel you back in.
Yeah, girl.
He's still trying to be like, I'm here, pay attention to me.
But like me before would have been like, hey, I got your flowers. Like, but I didn't even, shit went in the trash. I'm like, I'm not even responding. Or I knew he was looking for my attention.
Yeah,
so,
and you weren't going to give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. And I feel like that's a sign that you've truly fully healed.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, there's this point of, you know, feeling anger towards somebody where you just get really angry, and that means you still have feelings for them, because it may not be love, but you have feelings. But when you can be neutral like that and be like, doesn't faze me, taking it out of my life, like that's when you know.
Which I did have the anger part. I think that that was part of the healing, you know, like you go through the emotions. We're human. We're gonna feel, and I think that's the most important thing, is to feel your feelings. I cried when I had to cry, and I was angry when I was angry, you know, and I would lash out. But I think now I'm more in a place of like, you know, it is what it is. Whatever happened. We had our memories together. Thank you for all the lessons. And, you know, you do you and I'm doing me. And that's really it. You know, I'm not worried about what he's doing, who he's with, where he's going. You know, it's kind of just out of my control. It's, you know, whatever he wants to do, and I'm doing me.
Yeah.
But you really have to feel your emotions. And that was one thing too in my healing. I never turned to drugs and alcohol. I barely drink, and I barely smoke, if not like literally very occasional. But yeah, I think it's important, because if you don't deal with the emotions now, you're gonna deal with it later on. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's better to just, you know, go through that process, because you don't want to like be out and you're drinking and then you turn aggressive because
you have all this anger inside of you. Yeah, for sure. So did you just like sit at home and cry for days? Like what was that like?
No, I was not that type, because at the end of the day, I knew that I had done my part, and I gave it my all, and I did everything that I could. So yeah, I did cry. It hurt. It hurt, of course. But I think having that support system, like you were saying earlier in the beginning, having the support system and going out and just getting your mind off of all of it, you know?
Yeah, just surrounding yourself with so much love.
Distracting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you said you got your dog.
My dog.
So you had like love coming in from him and love coming in from your friends.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely key, is when you're going through such a hard time like that, is feeling your emotions.
Got to.
But then bringing in happiness and love and light in any way possible that you can. You know, whether it's through your friends, whether it's through a dog, whether it's through, you know, traveling, whether it's through anything.
Yeah.
Like, bring that light and life and back into your life.
Yeah. You got to go soul searching, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you feel like you've learned from him that you would recommend anybody else who might be dealing with some kind of similar situation? First off, what flags that now looking back at the relationship, you can be like, that was a red flag that I didn't see at the time? Mm-hmm. Or kind of helping somebody in a situation that's similar to you now and how to get out of it?
I think now when dating, I want to go out with the guy. And it's like, it's hard now, because when a guy's drinking, I kind of get a little
nervous.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I'm like, because of, you know, that trauma. But it's like I want to see that because I want to know what I'm going to get myself into. You know, like the first time that whole episode happened, I should have just walked away then, and I didn't, you know, but that's a big one. A lot of women deal with alcoholism. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about the, not the alcoholic, but the one that's with the alcoholic. Not a lot of people talk about that. So we go through a lot too.
That's so true.
A lot of mental and emotional damage.
Absolutely.
So.
Because if somebody is in your life is dealing with so much, like they're bleeding onto you.
Yeah.
They're bleeding onto everybody around them.
Yeah.
And that's really tough to go through.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So
no one talks about that.
Yeah. So that's a big one I look for now. And yeah, I mean there's so many, but I think from that relationship, like that's a big one for me. For sure. But now I've learned, like, if you think you could change him, you can't. It's not happening. And a lot of people don't want to hear it, but it's just what it is.
That's so interesting because I feel like a lot of us, especially girls, I can't speak for the male perspective on this, but from the female perspective, I know a lot of my friends and a lot of stories I've heard, they're like, oh, this guy is really great, but he has X and X and X and X red flags. But I see the potential in him. And a lot of us girls, again, like I do with my friends or anything, like I give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And I think it's really...
Can't fall for potential.
You can't fall for potential.
No, because that's what I did. I fell for potential. I'm like, no, but he's got a good heart. And, you know, I'm telling everybody, like, you don't know him, like, behind the scenes, you know, whatever. Can't fall for potential.
Yeah.
Can't change him. You know, what you get is... What you see is what you're going to get. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. So do you have any certain non-negotiables now that you're like, the second you see this, you're like X? Because you said you're very,
to go.
You have a good radar.
Yes.
So what are your non-negotiables? And when somebody like shows you this certain characteristic, you're like, you're not getting a first dinner. Yeah.
I would say the biggest one is a guy with provider mentality. Like they have to have provider mentality, because if not, it's like it's not even I need you to provide financially. It's not that. It's stability, you know, mainly. Because if I can't rely on you, what are you good for?
Facts.
Truthfully, what are you good for? You know? So I would say that's like my biggest one for sure.
And think of any non-negotiables for myself, actually, because I'm thinking about what I would want.
Yeah. Like you really have to think about it. That's why I was like, I had to make a list, because I'm like, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think that the biggest thing for me is I think exploring all these different outcomes and all these different people is so important, because I realized that like you can't get the right answer straight away. You have to go through a bunch of wrong answers to realize what you don't like.
Yeah.
And I think realizing what you don't like is just as important as realizing as what you actually want in life.
Yeah.
Definitely. So like for me, that's kind of why I give everyone a first dinner. I'm like, if I don't like you and I don't want to really go out with you, or I don't really want to be your friend after, at least you're going to show me something that I don't like.
Do or don't like,
Yeah, or do or don't like. And I can cross you kind of off my list. I can cross that quality off my list.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm not saying I don't date. I do, and not all of them work out, but not everybody.
Yeah. That's so true. Well, again, I commend you on your strength.
Thank you.
Going through all of that and coming out so beautiful. Like on the inside and out, you're like glowing.
Thank you.
Like,
that means
truly
so much to me. Thank you.
Yeah, because again, we go through such hard times in life, and I don't know if you shared this with anybody else, but you haven't shared this with anybody?
No, a lot of people like back home and stuff, they knew kind of what I was going through, but I don't think they really knew like fully, you know. So
yeah, and then it's like you don't get to really release this out of your body, of your energy, and no one can tell you how proud they are of you for getting through that, because you've had to go through it alone.
Yeah.
And
because
no one
there's
really.
people that are like, I'm out. Like, I'm not gonna be your friend or whatever, you know?
Yeah. So, Evita, today I'm telling you how proud I am of not only opening up and sharing your story here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would hope that I could help anybody out there that's going through the same thing, because I know firsthand like how it is, and it's terrible. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Yeah.
So to wrap up everything, I have one last departing question for you.
Okay.
I know you mentioned it a little bit before.
Yes.
But what's something you would tell somebody in a toxic, abusive relationship that they should know, but maybe they don't want to hear?
Well, I did already kind of mention it, and it was, you can't change them. But the other one is, if you think it's love, it's not.
Why do you say that?
Because sometimes you think it's love, how I thought it was love, you know, and it was obsession. It wasn't love. For me, it was. But
so just kind of understanding
the difference.
And going back to the first question I asked you, what a relationship is.
Yeah.
Kind of asking yourself what love is.
Yeah.
And are you getting that from your partner?
Right.
Or are you getting something else?
Right. Or their version of it.
Or their version of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And just having that, I think, intention of being like, you know, sitting down with yourself and being like, love to me is a partnership. Love to me is not obsession. Love to me is helping me through my difficult times. And
being a team.
Being a team. And also, I once heard this, and I don't know why it's like stuck with me for so long, but it's like the whole point of being in a relationship is to be happy. So if you're not happy in one, what the hell are you doing in it?
Exactly.
And I was like, that's so simple.
Seriously.
But like, no one really gets that.
Yeah.
No one really understands that. Like,
and you think you can't find another one of him? Like, there's 20 million of them. You freaking hear girls on TikTok and stuff talking about these guys that they're dating or whatever with, and it's like, dude, you think you can't find another one? They're all out there.
I think that's so important too, like this abundance mindset.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't be in a scarcity mindset where you're like, I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life. I'm never gonna find somebody who's gonna treat me right.
That's what they'll tell you though. He told me that all the time. You never find somebody like me. I'm like, all right.
Bet. We are in abundance out here, actually, in LA, sir.
Actually, I'll find better. You're right.
Yeah. That's incredible. Thank you again for sharing your story. Thank you for being so strong.
Thank you.
And for getting through everything. Of course, I want you back all the time.
So excited about this.
So thank you so much. You've been so sweet. We'll catch you on the next podcast.